Just getting started, and welcome to Startup Pitch Battle. We've got a heavy competition of four amazing startups tonight and three great judges, and we want your feedback. If you're an investor, would you invest? Are these pitches good enough? And at the end, we want you to see if to pick your favorite, and we'll throw that in the hat and see if the judges pick the same one. So I want to kind of get started with some of the introductions. So we might as well get started with you, Jeff from Maple Leaf Angels. Can you tell us a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. As you said, I'm a member of Maple Leaf Angels. And for anybody not familiar, Maple Leaf Angels is a group of about 80 at this point high net worth angel investors in the Toronto area. I think we're the largest group of angel investors in Toronto, although there are a number of them in the surrounding area. I'm an active investor. I've got a couple of companies in my portfolio now. Also an active advisor to startups. And occasionally I'll take on a role in a company as a senior operations person just to get things moving and maybe get a better team in place. So in my time with MLA, I've seen hundreds of pitches. So this will just tack on to the another 4 or 5 to the hundreds. I always get a lot of energy out of it to really enjoy it, and looking forward to seeing the pitches tonight.
Thank you for that. I'm looking forward to it as well. I've talked to a few of the startups, but I haven't, except for one, haven't seen a pitch, and I haven't seen them pitch in a long time. Over to you, Will. Can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Will Greenblatt. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OutLoud Speaker School. We're a team of actors who teach public speaking, storytelling, and communication skills to entrepreneurs mostly, and we have some corporate clients as well. A lot of the work that I do is pitch competitions, accelerators, working with Techstars and DMZ and Founders Institute. So I judge a lot of pitches and have been a pitch mentor, and I do a lot of individual pitch coaching. So just like Jeff, I've seen hundreds, and I love, picking them apart and seeing how we can make them better, not just from a content perspective, but my whole thing is also a delivery and storytelling perspective as well.
That's great, thank you. And you work with Techstars and DMZ and all that. And how's the pitching going online? We're doing some live pitching now, but
Yeah.
the demo day is online. How is that going over via Zoom?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nightmare for all these organizations because, they were caught flat-footed by this whole thing. And I was working for 3 different Techstars organizations for their first ever virtual demo day, and it was insane. They were really trying to figure out the tech side of things, but I think it was really good that they also saw the value in really working on the actual pitches themselves, not just worrying, is the lighting good, are the mics good, is all the tech good and the software and everything, but really also focusing on the delivery side, the content side. And there's a lot of great stuff happening now where we're making good speaking skills, good pitching skills with good technology and production value. So I think focusing on all of it is really important. And I would advise anyone to think about all the pieces.
Yeah,
Great.
Can I just
Of
add to
course.
that? We see 5 pitches a week at Maple Leaf Angels every Thursday afternoon. We do office hours, and of course, it's virtual now as well. And you see a huge range, but mostly people do a pretty good job on the virtual pitches, and we like it because a lot of people can actually see it that wouldn't normally be able to come in and see it. So it's been good for the audience as well.
And Alex, over to you. Want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, thanks, Craig. I'm Alex Morsink, a co-founder and managing director of Equivesto. Equivesto is an equity crowdfunding platform here in Toronto, but operating across Canada. We help companies raise up to 1.5 million from their extended community. So we obviously see a lot of companies in pitches as well. Judged my fair number of pitch competitions as part of that, and looking forward to seeing the great pitches. A few of the companies pitching tonight are actually on Equivesto right now. So go check them out if you like what you see.
Yeah, it's always good to know that people can actually the funding has changed. With equity crowdfunding and a few of the other things that are coming on, you're not just reliant on VCs anymore. So there's it flipping the script, as it were. And speaking of flipping the script, why don't I let each of the startups introduce themselves quickly before we get to it. And the first one's flipping the script is Doug from Airo.Life. Doug.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the intro, Craig. Doug Mockery here with the Airo.Life therapy-free enabled devices. So essentially, we're just flipping the script on who pays for smartphones and data plans, saving families $50 to upwards of $200 a month, and giving brands the highest visibility of content in the world. Yeah.
Thank you. And speaking of Lightfoot, I think you're here, Adam. I don't see you, but could you introduce?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Hey, what's going on? It's Adam here, and I'm the founder of Lightfoot, a project I've been working on for about a year and a half. We're all about connecting people to the environment, and really excited to be here. Looking forward to getting you guys familiar with the product.
Fantastic. And Reuven?
Thanks, Craig. I'm Reuven. I'm a co-founder of Award Pool. We've created a platform that essentially allows our users to better engage the massive gaming culture and population out there through engagement and gamification tools.
Yeah, it was exciting looking at some of your the product live when we were demoing it the other day. And Anatoly.
Hello, Anatoly from Paqt here. We're building the future of deal making and helping SMBs figure out how to do business online with a more efficient tool. And the rest you'd hear during the presentation. So thank you for having me.
That's fantastic. And we want, there'll be a couple of polls that come up after, a poll after every pitch here on Zoom, and I'll be asking questions live on YouTube. We want you to give us your feedback on the pitches, and at the end, we want you to vote for your favorite. So we might as well get started right away, and we'll get Lightfoot get their presentation ready. And while they're getting that ready, I'll mention what the judges are judging on tonight. The judges will be judging on story, people, product, market, and then the overall pitch. So that's what they'll be judging on. You can judge any way you want to because you're the audience. And Adam, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm gonna share my screen here, so you guys just let me know when you're able to see it. Got everything sort of ready here.
And I will be cutting Adam off at the 5-minute mark, and there will be Q&A and feedback from the judges.
Still can't see anything there, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There it comes.
All right, great. Cool. So my name's Adam Johansson, and I'm just going to make sure before I get into it that this is on present mode. Anyway,
Yeah, looks good.
So my name's Adam Johansson, and I started this project called Project Lightfoot about a year ago. And like I said, it's all about connecting people to the environment. So when I started, I really wanted to do something for the climate, and I didn't really know what it was going to be. I had this simple thought, though. I was thinking, what percentage of my income would I have to spend to offset my carbon footprint? And this thought kind of rolled around in my mind for a while, and I started digging into the information, and it felt sort of like Alice in Wonderland, just further down the rabbit hole. There's just a lot of confusing information, a lot of contradictory information. The quality of the information is very low, and it's all emotionally charged. It was actually very frustrating and very difficult for me. So I compare it very similar to The Boy That Cried Wolf. Like what's happening right now, in my opinion, is there's a lot of people saying, save the planet right now. Let's go. Act now. But there's really no solutions. I didn't find a single solution that spoke to me that was able to offer a simple, cheap, and convenient alternative. So a couple of problems that I noticed was, if you guys know this is like kind of how I compare it. It's like there's all these problems, the world's on fire, but nobody is really doing anything. Everybody seems to be chugging along normal pace. So here's a couple of problems that I noticed. Number one is, when anxieties are running high, emotionally charged headlines are passing around, it doesn't lead to action. It forces you not to do anything. And this is the psychology of this is really just, it's hitting into your fight or flight response. And So consciously, when you're not presented with an alternative, your mind will always prefer to ignore the problem. Most people are just way too busy. They don't know where to start. Like myself about a year ago. And quite frankly, a lot of the products just suck. They either don't exist, or they're too time consuming. They have embedded commitments. They are just not practical for our busy lives. So what is the solution? So the solution I come up with is basically Lightfoot as it is today. It's a monthly subscription service that connects to your monthly spending to your carbon footprint. I like to say that it's hands-free. We automatically plant all the trees for you, so you can go carbon neutral without even leaving your house. And it's really simple. It's easy to maintain. There's no commitments. There's no strings attached. There's no kind of like, low quality information. We make it really easy for you guys to stay motivated and through a rewards program and a product giveaway that we run every month. So how does it work? It's basically very simple. You sign up, link your bank account, track your carbon footprint. This comes out every month. And you basically earn rewards while you're planting. And we do all the planting for you. So you don't have to worry about really anything other than just checking your account every so often. And, tuning into our product giveaways every month. And, we take care of the rest. We make it easy for you to do something great for the planet. So a bit about the market that we're going after. I like to say that we're trying to be the Stripe of climate change. I really want to focus on building a developer-friendly experience and focusing specifically on the ESG market. Now, large companies are extremely focused on this. Here are a couple of the numbers here. Just the direct carbon offsetting market, it's about 600 million per year. The carbon permitting market is sort of a little bit larger bubble than that. Specifically related to regulatory carbon offsetting is about $44 billion per year. And the ESG market comes in at a whopping, this is assets under management, by the way, but massive market, $40 trillion as of December 31st, 2020. So it goes to show you the scale of how big the problem is and how interested the people are in actually solving the problem. It is a global problem. There is no larger problem than this. We're going to have to solve this at some point. And the way that I think of the problem.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Okay.
That was your 5 minutes. I appreciate the pitch. Now over to the judges. We are going to start with you, Will. You've always got something to say.
Sorry, Craig, do you want us to give our feedback and then put in
questions,
our
Q&A?
Yes. So thanks, Adam, for that. And thanks for going first.
Welcome.
And, just full disclosure, Adam and I have worked together on his pitching before. So I'm a little bit, I know a bit more of the backstory, and we've kind of worked on getting the story, and we are still very new on crafting this. I appreciate the starting with the personal story. What I would love to see, though, is just a more concise story at the beginning and then getting to the crystallized problems and solutions a lot earlier. So and making sure the story is just really highlighting those problems. So this is what I wanted to do, or this is how I noticed this. And I noticed there was this specific gap. And then that's why I decided to solve this specific problem and getting into it much faster, just to make sure that the story is there. So we get to know you, we get to know why you started it, but we get to the sort of meat and potatoes, which is the problem and solution of the pitch, a lot sooner. And I would love to, maybe make that market a bit more of the focus. It was a little bit casual for me. And also, as I know that you're still working on your slides, but maybe visually also making those numbers pop out a bit, especially the 40 trillion or whatever number that you had. And then I also didn't know what ESG stood for. So I would have loved a clarification there. And then just showing us that, you really are shrinking down from a massive total addressable market to a really clear, realistic one. And then, as I'm sure Craig will say, or would say if he was judging, not just what the market opportunity is, but how are you going to get them?
That was great. Thank you, Will. How about you, Alex? What's your thoughts on this, or questions and feedback?
Yeah, I have a few questions. Obviously, you weren't able to complete your entire pitch, so maybe you can just quickly answer a few of the things that I was still wondering about. Part for me in there was your actual business model. So you outlined the market, but I'd be interested in knowing, okay, so how do you actually make money? You take a piece of the transaction, and do you actually go and plant the trees yourself? Does your company plant the trees, or do you find other, nonprofits to donate to then plant the trees?
Great question. Thanks, Alex. So our business model is very straightforward. We use a percentage of the donations we raise for charities that we work with, and we work with the most transparent and competitive charities out there. We actually rank these charities based on a framework that I developed, which basically one of our competitive advantages is working with charities that have the lowest cost per ton of CO2, like reducing CO2 emissions in the most effective way, because that way we can pass the savings right back to the consumers. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, I think in a follow-up to that, is your business a profit or a non-profit business?
It's a for-profit business.
Okay.
That we work with nonprofits.
Okay. So for example, with every dollar donated, what percent of that dollar, how many cents would go to you as revenue, and how many would be passed on as to sort of continue that sort of donation piece?
Yep, it's 10%. So for every $1, 10 cents stays with us, 90 cents goes with the charities.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And
Jeff, any questions and or
final thoughts?
Adam?
Yeah. Adam, tough job doing a 5-minute pitch. It's almost the hardest. For instance, at Maple Leaf Angels, we give people half an hour. Okay. And you were kind of setting up for a good half-hour pitch. So it's really tough to get all the important points in those 5 minutes that you were given tonight. So hats off for giving it a go, and practice will get you there.
Thank you.
But it's not easy. 5 minutes is tough. Having said that, I don't know how far along you are. If you're just at the idea stage, have you actually sold anything yet? And maybe you can start with that. Is this a viable, or is this a business that's actually operating now, or is it intended to be operating?
Yeah, so for the last year, I've been working on building it myself, and I've brought in a couple developers as well to help me build it. That started off really as a survey that I started working on with about 150 people, and I got some really good sounding from that convinced me to just go out and build it and try it. So we're about a month away from our launch. I've been keeping in contact with the people through the survey, and our interest level is around 90% of the people in that survey are interested in using the product when it goes live. So,
okay, cool. So a little bit of advice. I assume you're looking for funding to get you to that next level. I say to a lot of companies that there are a lot of good companies, but they're not always going to be the type of company that an angel investor per se would invest in, because we're looking for relatively hyper growth type of companies, that are going to ramp up very quickly. Having said that, I think your company could be ideal for some kind of sort of group funding type of program, and maybe Equivesto can help out in that regard. It's a tough business raising money, and like we're always looking for those companies that can really take off. So if you are looking for that kind of a situation, you'll have to make a case for that, like how you can ramp up your revenues really quickly over a 2 to 3 year window. We can chat more, but probably that's about it for tonight's format.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
That was great, Adam. I appreciate it. And Reuven from Award Pool is up next.
All right.
Reuven.
Let me get this screen here. All right. All right, starting. You guys can see my screen?
Looks good. Go ahead.
Okay, starting 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm Reuven from Award Pool. Thanks for coming out tonight and watching my presentation. Just to throw quickly, we're on equivesto.com award pool. So we're a award pool. And so we are a company focused on gamer engagement. We're founded by 3 very experienced entrepreneurs. My partner, Alex, who comes from sort of the sort of accounting and public companies. He's an expert in essentially taking companies public. He's got years of experience doing it. We met as angel investors in an angel group, Angel One, which is out in Oakville and Burlington area. Ahmad, he's an entrepreneur. He recently sold his esports company to Amuka Esports here in Toronto. He's the founder of Waves, which was one of the first and biggest esports facilities in Canada. And myself, I'm Ruben. I guess you'd say I'm a serial entrepreneur. A little side note, I've got the honor of being rejected by 465 VCs over the years. I also was able to raise a substantial amount of money over the years, north of 120 million in my various companies. Of all the companies I've started, I've never actually started a serial company. In the next area, so what are we? So we're focused on an area that's really exciting, we believe, and this is the gaming area. So if you think of the gaming industry as being 2 areas of a spectrum, on one end of the spectrum, you've got casual gamers. The casual gaming market represents 2.5, 3 billion gamers. On the other side of the spectrum, you've got sort of esports, you've got professionals. If you think of it like the PGA, you've got a few hundred professional golfers and you've got millions of casual golfers. We're focused on the intersection of both those trends. We've created a platform that essentially allows our brands, companies of various sorts to better engage the gamer audience. If you're Generation Z, you're not going on social networks to interact with your friends. You're going on Fortnite, you're going on Call of Duty, you're going on games. Games are the new social network. And being able to engage gamers is what we're doing. In terms of our background, when we first started the company, we pivoted, in fairness. The company is roughly about a year old. Our first initial focus was on esports. And we realized quickly that there was a bigger opportunity, not just in, as I said, these sort of professional level esports players, but in the intersection of the casual gamers. And how do you grab those casual gamers? How do you keep them engaged? How do you get value from that segment? So we've created a platform that essentially provides all these sort of gamification and tools that really allow us to better engage the sort of gamer audience. Again, we have 5 minutes, so I'm going to go quickly here. So what we've done is we created essentially a widget that brands can use to create these types of challenges that can, again, enable a kind of gamification. And that's a broad level of things. So from one end of the spectrum, you can do social media related activities, get rewarded for liking, following, doing certain things, uploading a video, doing a stream. You can also get rewarded for playing the games that you're already playing. So if you're playing Call of Duty, you're playing Fortnite, you're playing League of Legends, you're doing well, you're getting points. You can redeem those points for things. Those things can be t-shirts, it could be a PlayStation. We have integrated gift card capabilities, so we don't have to facilitate the actual transfer of things. We can do it in a virtual sort of context. So we also have the ability to use this sort of gamification in the context of social payments. So in the instance of, let's say, Shopify, and you want to buy something, but you don't have the money to buy it, you can go do several things and have that sort of thing unlocked. So if you go watch a Coke video, download someone's app, go follow them on Twitter, that might be in lieu of paying $19.99 for a t-shirt or certain things. So we like to think that we're kind of like a mixture of like PayPal, but for sort of social game related activities. So we have leaderboards, we have all the sort of integration directly with games, we have all the things you need to be able to be successful. URL actions, challenges, payments, social media integrations, and everything in between. A lot more than I could probably tell you in 5 minutes, but it's substantial. We have our initial traction with a number of large partners, including Seagate Gaming and a number of nonprofits who are using our platform to raise capital and get better engagement within the gaming community. You should invest in us because we're experienced. We have a lot of traction. We've done it before. We're going to do it again. And if you're interested in learning more about us, check us out. And you can invest in us at equivesto.com/awardpool. Thank you.
Right under the wire. Good job, Ruben. Woohoo. We might as well start with you, Jeff. What do you have any questions or feedback for Reuven?
Ruben, good job. I was going to ask you, do you have a timer on just to get you in under the wire? And obviously you did.
Yes.
But I guess the challenge, and I had a timer on too, and mine just mine just finished. The challenge is trying to get your business case across in that 5 minutes. And what I felt was a bit lacking. By the way, I love the space you're in. I think there's lots of potential. I should start with something positive. But I didn't really understand your business model because you probably just didn't have enough time to get to it. And or what kind of channels are you using? How are you going to market? How are you raising awareness? That sort of thing. And then what kind of revenue potential you have. You mentioned some traction right at the end. I would have loved to have seen if you've got some. How have you been doing for the last few months? Where do you think it's going to go? Investors love to see the potential, even if it's sometimes a wild ass guess. It does help us to see what the opportunity is. So a little bit more of that would have been great to see. I loved how you started with the team, very solid in that category. So that I think the way you've set up the presentation is good. Just a little bit more on the business opportunity would have helped me. That's it. Thanks.
That's helpful.
What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I'm going to respectfully not disagree, but just offer a slightly different thing to Jeff in terms of the team slide and the order of it. And this may just be a personal preference for me as the listener, but I started to really perk up when I heard about the story of the business, and this is where Gen Z are hanging out. This is what the market opportunity is like, and to supplement what Jeff was saying about the business opportunity, I would have loved to have started with that just as sort of a story, because it is a bit of a revelation to somebody like me. I'm still I'm young, but I'm not that young, so I'm not quite sure about where all these kids are hanging out and what that opportunity is. I was very surprised in recent years to hear that esports is such a crazy thing. So the excitement of this new burgeoning industry and how insane the growth is and how it's kind of still a bit of a wild west is to me the real exciting thing. So I would have loved for that to come in a little earlier, and then maybe the team to come in just a bit later to say, like, the idea works on its own. Now here's why we're the team to do it. So two different ways you could go about that. Yeah. And then I think I also, there was a bit too much time spent on discussing a bit of the details, like how it could work. I would always say for this sort of walkthrough of what the thing does, just 1 or 2 examples and very clear steps, so you don't take up too much time on it, especially in a 5-minute pitch. But really great speaking skills that you have. Your voice is strong. You brought energy and passion. I believe in you as an entrepreneur just from the way that you're presenting yourself. So I thought you did fantastic in that regard.
Thanks.
And over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks again, Reuven, for a great pitch. Yeah, definitely, a lot of great feeling and emphasis coming across. I think looking for a bit more clarity around the business model. So if you could, help explain a little bit more how you guys sort of make money and you take a piece of the transaction, or sort of how that works. I think that would be useful information to include. Obviously, finding a way to just sort of like what Jeff said, finding a way, and Will, to simplify that key piece of what exactly it is you do. It is obviously complicated, but finding a way to sort of say that a little bit shorter would give you a bit more time to talk about, okay, demonstrating the traction, demonstrating the business model, those sort of pieces, which would be helpful. But obviously, 5 minutes is a very short amount of time, and you came in just under the wire. So I appreciate the pitch, and if you wouldn't mind actually saying some of the ways that you make money in the business model, that would be appreciated.
Great. Would you like me to answer that, or sorry, is that
yeah, no, if you have like 30 seconds to
no, I appreciate the opportunity. So we're focused right now. We're early stage companies, so we're doing charter projects with big brands that essentially want to access gamers. And our longer term plan is the SaaS-based offering. It'll be monthly subscription. You'll get a discount if you sign up for a year. There's different plans along the way. So it's a SaaS-based business for the most part. We're focused on MRR and ARR. If you're familiar with SaaS, it's exactly that.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Great. Go ahead, Will.
No, sorry. So I was just going to ask. So for now, your customers are marketing departments of big brands who are looking to reach gamers.
Yeah, think like, I'm just going to throw an example. Think you're Coke. You're going to do a promotion. You want to do a gamer promotion. Our platform could allow you to say, hey, here, upload your Coke UPC, which unlocks a Fortnite challenge. Then depending on how you place in your Fortnite game, you can win points. You could redeem those points for Coke related things. It just would be an example. But you could replace Coke with just about any brand.
Right. And the decision maker is, let's say, head of marketing at Coke.
Yeah, right now, I think the decision maker would probably be large and mid-sized advertising marketing firms that represent sort of entertainment folks that might want to go after entertainment related properties and things like that. So we can go at scale. You get one large Toronto ad agency and they open up the Rolodex and you get multiple customers out of them.
Awesome. Yeah, that helps. Thanks.
Can I just add a quick thing? So Maple Leaf Angels was an early investor in Enthusiast Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might want to look at some of their models for your business. I think they're doing some interesting stuff in the gaming space, and plagiarism or modification, either or, could be to your benefit, because the model you're proposing is certainly one possibility, but it might be a bit chunky, and I think you want to find, as you say, some more something along a SaaS model where you can get some consistent revenue over time.
Yeah, we've actually had several conversations with enthusiasts. Ahmad, who's our resident esports expert, has sort of a massive social network for all this.
Great. Yeah, I think those types of relationships could really come in handy.
That's good. Appreciate it.
All right, Reuven, can you stop? Perfect. Thank you. Anatoly, you're up next.
Hello. Let me share my screen here. Can you see it?
It's coming up. Yes.
1 second. Okay. Hello, my name is Anatoly, and today we'll be talking about the next big thing in tech, the agreement platforms. First of all, I want you to think of Ben, this industrious, diligent SMB owner. His life is busy. He's managing a bunch of contracts and negotiations with his customers. In the good old days, he was, using these paper-based processes, mailing letters and contracts back and forth. And you would think today his life is easier. Well, it's not. There's a bunch of tools, scattered communication, and with COVID and digitization, he's constantly being pushed for efficiency. And how would Ben become this efficient deal maker with optimized risk, easy and navigatable contracts? Well, he'd scratch his head and be like, okay, I'll connect my email to a document like a template platform, and then I'll go negotiate back and forth, and then I'll sign it somehow, and then I'll store it somewhere, and then it just becomes a mess. And because of that process, probably around $90 billion is lost yearly in North America across SMB owners. The process is complex. There's a lot of communication channels, multiple tools, steps. It's time consuming, and it's risky because none of the platforms are legally compliant. Because of that, SMB spend has increased by 38% in the last 6 years. That's why we're building Paqt, Ben, don't worry. We'll make agreements fly for SMB decision makers without compromising speed and legal security. We make them efficient, we make them fast, the deal cycles and approvals, it's budget friendly and still legally secure. Moreover, because your partners are in the same ecosystem, you enjoy the network effect. So how are you different from DocuSign, one might ask? Well, in our case, the chat is the glue that connects the communication, the documents, the signatures, the payments, everything together. Document creation wasn't as easy as it is. You just drag and drop some components, draft up the legal verbiage, and share it back to the chat. Also, you could attach variables like company name, director name, that are pluggable into other tools that you are using. Also, if you don't like something in a contract, you could just highlight and click negotiate and counter offer, and your party would see what has specifically changed, so you don't have to double check each time. The product itself is a combination of the chat app and deal-making tools that serve the holistic experience from negotiation to post-contractual management. We also have a few interesting cool things like bank-powered digital ID, so you know who are you dealing with, chat extracts so that you could prove your agreement in court later on. As I like to say, it's like an agreement Swiss knife. You know, you have a lot of blades and you're not even sure how to use this one, but it's everything you need but the lawyer. Comparing to the competition, they don't have the flexibility. They don't have the opportunity to interact with the users inside of the platforms, and they're still reliant on email processes. Moreover, they're not media compatible, so you cannot attach an audio file or a video or a photo as part of your agreement and prove that in court later on. The market is huge. Just even if we would downgrade the 90 billion and just focus on something really small, the TAM for legal tech is 8 billion, and using the Pareto principle, 1.6 billion would probably be for SMBs. Or we could recalculate that just taking half of the SMBs that are more or less digitized and just spending on the digital signature, which is a 1.8 billion market on its own. We have chosen a tier subscription model with add-on features and legal automation. And of course, there's a hockey stick in this presentation. Our go-to-market is targeting frequent deal makers, specifically B2B focused IT service providers, those who are developing applications and games and VR, AR experiences and websites, learn from their second connection interactions and scale it through lookalike audiences to tangential markets. We had some traction over time, being built from legal tech hackathons into business law clinics, building our first demo, graduating from Founder Institute with a wait list of 100 users and 5 LOIs. And now we're in the legal tech cluster called Legal Innovation Zone. We have a great team, balanced, a second-time founder marketing experience being me, a licensed lawyer, William, and Slava, full stack senior developer with previous CTO experience. We also have an amazing advisory board, which consists of various backgrounds from corporate to startup to legal tech and overall strategic decision making. So just to leave you with a few key points, we are empowering SMB owners, just like Ben, shaping the future of work and saying stop bundling those tools and use a simple all-in-one platform. And that the agreement optimization is a rapidly growing area comparable to CRM systems, and it's the next big thing. Thank you, and strike deals with Paqt.
That was great, Anatoly. Thank you. And we haven't started with you yet, Alex. So do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Thank you, Anatoly, for a great presentation. I really appreciated the cadence. You were able to sort of get all your points across effectively and move through the slides in a great manner. I got the story, I got the product, all that was really clear and made sense. It helps that I've talked to you before, but I got it from the pitch as well. I would love to have a little bit more information on your traction and everything. You have that slide that shows sort of the things that you've done in the past, which is really helpful, but even additional emphasis on that slide of where are you right now and what is sort of the next step. You mentioned you left, you're in the Legal Innovation Zone, but you left the Founders Institute with 5 letters of intent and 100, pending users. Where are you sort of right now? How many pending users? You're in the closed beta. What does that mean? Sort of what are the next steps? I think that would be a really great piece to see as well from the presentation to help sort of drive that excitement and fill out the first bit of your hockey stick. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Jeff, would you like to jump in here?
Sure. What Alex said. No, great presentation, very succinct. You got through all the key areas in your 5 minutes. I agree with Alex that I think you've got to tell a bit of the forward story as well. And identifying the market is great and the market potential, but why you? Like that's the piece I thought was a little bit, you could have filled out a little bit about how you're going to actually make a great company in that market. So show us a little bit about, if you have any traction other than LOIs, great, but show where it's going to go. When are you going to start seeing some revenue coming in? How are you going to get that revenue? That's all really useful stuff. I know it's tough in 5 minutes, so I'm not going to hold it against you at all. But generally speaking, I think you're in a great market, and I think you're in such a great market that you're actually in a market. I'm about to make an investment in a company called Quote Machine. You can check them out. Very similar, Montreal-based company, omni-channel, handling a lot of what you're handling. So I think you're in a good spot. Keep it up.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I'd be happy to follow the conversation and show you the full version of the deck if it might be of interest later on.
Please do. And I guess anybody on the call, I want to do a shout out for Maple Leaf Angels that we have an application process on our website. You can apply to pitch to us, and that's the start of getting money from us. But anyone else, you can find me on LinkedIn. Happy to have a quick chat and take it from there.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of questions on YouTube, but basically I'm about to throw it over to Will. How has the product been received so far, and where is the product in development?
Okay, so everyone is interested in this question, and it's great so that we've built up this hype. We have actually a working demo, and you could go and check it out at app.paqt.chat. What you have seen, these are the UX UI layouts for future iteration, and we're currently fundraising to make that happen. People are ecstatic who have a lot of deals and who actually get into like what's happening. We have a lot of customers that are waiting for it to be released and who could vouch for us and give references, which was unexpected for me at this stage. Yeah, we're pre-revenue. We have a demo product, and we're on our track to build up the MVP throughout this summer with, let's say, if hypothetically we'd close our fundraising before the beginning of summer, and then start selling it throughout autumn and winter.
Can I add just quickly that paid pilots carry a lot of weight with angel investors, at least. So if you can find any company that's willing to work with you a little bit for a reduced rate, help you develop the product, but pay you something, that is really worth a lot in our community.
Will?
Yeah, fantastic, Anatoly. And again, like Alex, I've heard the pitch before, and I've seen it come leaps and bounds. And I just want to say congratulations, because you've come such a long way with it, and it's so exciting to see where the pitch is at right now, and to see the passion and the competence with which you're pitching it. It's really, really awesome. So first off, great job. Yeah, and just to echo what Jeff and Alex said, and yeah, just some sense as you're giving in these answers now of the sort of not the go-to-market strategy, but yeah, the achieving revenue strategy, and specifically from a marketing angle, like how are you going to get your name out there? How are you going to find these users? And some kind of strategy around that, I think, would be interesting to me. And then in terms of the actual delivery, I would love for you to strip it down a little bit. If you're presenting in these 5-minute iterations, there's just you do it really well, but there's a lot of words and acronyms thrown out there. And I think for people who may not be in the industry, simplifying it a little bit and telling Ben's story a little bit more simply of the pain around not being able to do that. Sorry, I've lost you here for a second. The pain around not being able to solve this problem, and then to just show a bit more why these customers will flock to this thing, rather than it just being a great market for lots of money for the investor, but why customers themselves will really jump at this.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. Would take that into consideration.
Thank you. That was great, Anatoly. And we're going to welcome Doug up to the screen. Doug from Airo.Life.
Thanks very much, Craig and panelists. Let me just jump right to it. Can everyone see okay?
It looks good.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to start off with why we're here today. I'm here to clearly articulate our purpose and objective of this as a solid investment, the business and the team at hand here. So I'm going to start off with a story. My name is Douglas Mockery, Airo.Life. And the year was 1989. I was 7 years old. So I came home from school. My lunch was a little light that day, and I asked my mom why so. She broke down crying and explained that things were going to be very different going forward. My parents were entrepreneurs. They took a lot of risks. With those risks, sometimes comes failure. So it brought a lot of hard times. Right now, currently, with the ecosystem, there's many people going through hard times. So what are some of those problems? Well, Unfortunately, I can't switch the screen. I'm just going to escape for a second, gentlemen. There we are. That's much better. 50% of Canadians and Americans only have $200 less of disposable income at the end of every month. 50% of Canadians and Americans are teetering upon bankruptcy. And that was prior to the pandemic. Brands have actually seen a decrease in engagement with conventional ads. People want content, quality content. Phones and phone plans are expensive, still in Canada and in the United States, relatively towards the rest of the world. So how do we go about solving this? Well, we've flipped the script. Never pay for your smartphone or data again. We're world's first smartphone and data plan completely free to the end user. So let's walk through this. How does this exactly work? Well, it's an app and content delivery system or platform. We take over certain elements of the device, certain screens that give those brands the highest visibility in the world. Now, what does it do for end users? Well, it simply saves them a minimum of $50, upwards to $200 a family per month. That's mass savings. They could go to groceries, etc. So let's move along. You need a team. Ideas are great, but it's all about the execution. So what better to bring on people that have walked the path before to multi-billion-dollar organizations? We're fortunate enough to have BlackBerry personnel, global supply chain advisors, Sean Taylor with BlackBerry, who's brought the accessories division to over $1 billion in multiple organizations. Shalisha Harris is entrenched with Coca-Cola, Kraft Heinz, and a longtime friend, Vic Bat, who's worked with tier one retailers throughout North America. Ken McDonald with his content experience, because this is about content. What's my background? I've worked with the energy drinks for a number of years in action sports, and we've drove a lot of traffic around those properties. So ideas can be great. You can have a market, you have a great team, but is there a mass market there that you can actually obtain and get? Serviceable market, 31 billion. If everything was perfect, no competition came into play, even with patents. Possibility, $31 billion. Over the scope of 10 years, we expect 10 billion, believe it or not. 1,000 people a day have signed up in trial runs. People want what we have to offer. Our customers are not the end user, but our customers are banks and ad agencies, content makers. So case studies, where are we drawing this from? Well, there's a certain company in India who's now the largest media company in India after a year and a half with one small aspect of our model. So again, we brought up the banks. Banks will always pay handsomely for new acquisition of customers. We see tablets given away all the time. Ad agencies, again, want eyes on the products, click-throughs. Depending on the nation, we'll give a certain amount of free data, but other nations have different variants of prices. So it's great to talk about $10 billion, $31 billion, but what are the steps to getting there? You have to walk before you run. It's all about KPIs, making efficiencies, and making sure things are going well. So this is a step ladder approach over the course of 4 years. So where are we at? Well, it's MVP state to pilot, building upon KPIs, keeping the brands, your customers happy, bank happy. Where are we with the bank? Well, we have term sheets. We've closed Underknown, the #1 content provider for science and education in the world. They're given the Webby Awards. We ran a successful Indigo campaign, and we've actually have MRRs of a completely non-focus of our core, which is accessories of $5,000 a month. That was an accident, and that's a great accident to have. So bringing up that accident of accessories and what we're about, well, this is ESG, environmental, social governance. So the approach to the world, how do you solve major environmental issues? It starts with banking, education, and media. The content that we show on our devices is all about planting seeds for a better world. And we're going to incorporate that into our content. And I can get into the GDD, gross domestic development, 50% split on monetary governance and environmental governance and positive impact and growth. But that's a whole different story. We have great partners throughout the ecosystem of North America. Fortunate to have them. And his background, we are valued at 25 million right now. Exit strategy, M&A, IPO in 5 to 8 years. But this is about growth and creating a great company and then going to the next stage appropriately. We're currently on Equivesto. I'd recommend to check them out. It's a great platform for pre-seed seed companies to utilize.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was great. You covered a lot of stuff, and we might as well start with you, Jeff, if you're up for it.
Sure. I wonder if I'm the only one on the panel who has judged you twice, Doug. I judged you at an OPN skip the line event about a year ago.
I remember legal. You had a legal question. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you always remember those tough questions. Good to see that you're still at it. I liked the idea then. I like it now as well. As far as the presentation goes, I guess the only piece that's still a little missing for me, and maybe there's ways to fill it in nicely, is banks will be your customers, but you also need advertisers, I think, right? That's the whole focus. So a little bit maybe on how you hope to attract advertisers. Maybe you've had some initial interest, just to get us kind of, more pulled in. Like maybe there's a bank that's already said, hey, if you get to this point, we're in. Like, I don't know if it's an MOU or an LOI or anything like that would be really great in terms of making that final push to a sale.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. We do actually have a term sheet for 7-figure with a bank right now. And then we also have some major agencies in the US that are backed by some of the largest brands in the world that are going to be integrating quality content on our devices. So it's exciting. And yeah, our push is this year just for that first step in market. So thanks for that question. And yeah, we're constantly building upon it. So other agencies that want to be involved, yeah, we're open to it.
Yeah. With your list of advisors, I don't really think there's much that we can help you with on the advice side, but that was just a little bit of comment on the pitch itself.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck with everything. Carry on. Keep at it.
Will, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, Doug. I thought you did a great job. Sorry, I've just lost you in the Zoom room here. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I thought you covered all the major pieces that I was looking to hear, basically. And I got a real sense of, like, this is a rocket ship taking off with or without you, which I always love to hear as from a pitch of kind of like, this is what we're doing. I can prove it works. I can prove it's happening. If you want to get on board, great. If not, there's a lot of people who will. And I really got that sense from you, from both the way you pitched it and from the content that you had. So good job there. I will say the one piece that I thought was maybe could be omitted was the piece where it was about environmental social governance. To me, it just was unnecessary, and it was a bit confusing with the kind of tone you were striking before. To me, the really amazing thing was starting with the story about your parents. I found that very emotionally compelling. I really liked that piece. To me, that I always, tell people to try to start with that emotional, personal story. I love that. But then when the environmental thing started coming in, I was like, wait, what kind of company is this? So I would say, yeah, just for this length of pitch, maybe removing that or keeping it to the very end, just like, this is what we ultimately want to do. But yeah, to me, that could maybe be removed and might be a little sharper for it. And then one very picky note on your speaking skills is just, you have great confidence and really, really great tone and volume and pace. Just work on your clarity a little bit. There's some words that got a little swallowed there. So a great exercise is slow down and speak with a pen between your teeth and really work on enunciating around the pen. And then that like strengthens the mouth muscles, and that'll just help you hit those consonants a little bit better. But great job.
That's a great feedback as well. And yeah, thanks for that piece on the environmental aspect side. That does create some, I guess, the dilution in what we're trying to come across. But actually, indirectly, this is an environmental play. The faster you educate the world with free access to information with a means to education, it's all proven in mature markets, aside from developing and emerging markets. The faster you educate the world, less consumption happens. So that's part of the play there. We've actually planted over 50,000 trees so far with our Indiegogo campaign, and then our accessories. I can't believe we're selling $5,000 a month MRRs of accessories, and that's not even our focus. I don't even count it on the in projections right now. So it's been
I'd just say, and if you are going to include, just finding a way to weave it into the story as just more of like, this is our like way of giving back or something. Just making it a little clear, because all of a sudden I felt like I'd lost the thread. So just making that a little clearer.
Again, more great feedback. I thank you for that. Yeah.
Can I just ask, how many phones are actually in use right now? Is this up and going?
Yeah, just beta testers have had, we have a handful in US, a few in Quebec, but really it's about that 100, then 10,000 And really, it's been the commitment for the bank, but we're going to be going a slight different route to allow more people to get early access to the devices, and then the bank will come in with that 10,000. So that's the plan, just to make the pace a little faster here. Because again, at COVID, it did scare a lot of the banks when Prime went down, and they're worried about the possibility of spend in 2020. But it's kicked back up down. There's interest again, so we just got to get through this due diligence of term sheet and get it done. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
Right. Just a quick comment. You have some microphone issues on your end, sort of the paper shuffling sound. So
it's his mic rubbing against his shirt.
Yeah, not a big deal, but if you're making a big pitch to somebody, I guess it's distracting.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I got to get some headphones. I actually taped these to the desk. These are actually made from hemp and wood. They are our earphones, they're ecobuds, and we plant one tree for everyone sold. So
don't wear a collared shirt with them. Like that's what.
T-shirt from here in.
Alex, we didn't get any questions or feedback from you.
Yeah, so thanks, Doug. Great pitch. I think the first question, which a lot of the attendees are probably asking, is when can I get a phone? Like, sign me up. Where do I start using this? I think great pitch. Again, want to echo sort of what Jeff and Will were saying. I think you've given the pitch a lot of times, and you speak very fast, so you get a lot of the pieces across very quickly, which is fantastic in a short amount of time. But sometimes with the words you've used to saying a lot, they kind of like blend a little bit into each other. So just doing the pen thing maybe once or twice might help with that. And then, it's such an exciting idea. And from someone looking to invest, they might want to learn a bit more about, okay, what does it actually look like in terms of the revenue model? Obviously, you're working with the banks, you're working with the advertisers. How does that actually fit together? But I know that's proprietary, and so you don't want to tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's still what I want to know, though.
yeah. If we get to the stage of LOI and then we got a few forms signed off on, then I get really in the deep weeds, and that's what gets people even more so excited.
Yeah.
Because this can go so many ways, but we just have to focus on step 1 and then 2. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
thanks for that.
Thanks for a great pitch.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Doug. So while the judges tally up their votes, I'm going to launch this poll. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah.
And we're going to find out who the audience chooses, and we're going to find out who the judges chooses as our winner for this evening. And while some of them are actively putting stuff in, Jeff, it looks like you're done. Did you want to give another shout out for Maple Leaf Angels before we make the announcement on who won?
Sure. Well, anybody in the audience who's got a company that is in startup mode and is at a point where they think they'd be of interest to angel investors, we've got a very good process for getting you in to pitch to us. Typically, that looks like about 40 minutes with angels. Anywhere from 8 to 10 of us are usually in on that meeting. And it's anything from giving you feedback to moving you to the next level and getting you a check. But it's really a worthwhile process to go through if you are planning that route. And I touched on it a little bit earlier. It's like not every company is going to be right for the angel investing route, because you're really going down a whole path of angel investment, seed round, Series A, Series B, and it's a tough business growing companies at that rate. And I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that route, but there's also the route of just great companies that can make their way on their own. Without a whole lot of financing. It happens more often than we like to think. And obviously angel investors are there. If your business model requires funding in the early stage, we're there to help.
So we have a question here in the chat room, which is probably directed at you, but I wanted to make sure the judges have got the stuff in. what was it? It was too early for the thing scrolled by. When is too early for? How early is too early for climate change tech?
Is that for me to answer?
Well, just because you're talking. Yeah.
I mean, too early is you've got a great idea, but you have no idea how to implement it. That's too early.
That's fair. And it looks like the judges are done. And we have a slight difference of opinion between the judges and the audience. So let me share the audience results if everyone can see this. The audience has chosen as a winner for the audience preference 67% for Paqt, the agreement platform, and 33% to Airo.Life. The judges, however, made a slightly different choice. It was close, but the final total and the winner of the first startup pitch battle is Doug from Airo.Life. Congrats, Doug. Congrats.
Thanks, everyone. There's so many strong companies in the Canadian ecosystem, and Paqt, that's an excellent product. Award pool, everyone on tonight. I like the ESG plays, so I've had a lot of practice, and that's thanks to a lot of these great avenues in Canada. So I appreciate everyone for their support of our team product at play here. So thanks again.
Yeah, and I just want to. Oh, sorry, Craig. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and Will, any final words?
Well, no, I was just gonna say, it's really hard to put yourself out there and to stand up here and pitch to an audience of strangers and people who are going to be picking apart everything you say and how you've constructed it. And this can be like your baby, these companies that we start, and so it can be very personal and hard to hear the feedback. So just good on all of you for doing that and continuing to do that. And it's just as Doug said, it's really exciting to see the Toronto and Canadian entrepreneur community continuing to build, and even in such uncertain, crazy times. So good job. Oh yeah, and if you want to, I'm starting a new course called the Powerful Pitch Online Bootcamp. This is if you want to pitch to Jeff and to other angel investors, or if you want to start creating video content or put out a video campaign on a company like Equivesto, then this will help you do that. So it's a 3-week course, and I can put the link in the Zoom chat if that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if anybody wants to see it, they can go check it out on Eventbrite.
Fantastic. And Alex?
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you to all the companies that pitched, all the panelists and judges here with me, and of course all of you who attended. It's really great to bring the ecosystem together and be able to see and hear more about what great Canadian companies are doing. I thought all the pitches were really great, and you made the effort to come out, and pitching in 5 minutes is a real challenge. I don't envy you at all. I know normally pitch competitions are even longer with the time. So having that short 5 minutes, definitely, great job on making the most of it.
And I say that I was at a pitch competition where everyone had 60 seconds to pitch. It was crazy. 80 pitches, 60 seconds long. I was more or less dead at the end.
Yeah.
I also want to say as one of my final words, there was only one winner tonight, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a great chance, all of you, of getting out there and raising money and getting your company off the ground. It's a great environment right now. We're in the middle of COVID, but lots of money is being invested right now. So get out there, realize your dreams.
Thanks everyone for attending. We're doing this again